Paging Dr. Spooky!
Dr. Spooky! 80s horror movie reviews. Dr. Spooky!
Dr. Spooky!
Horrible movies for you to view. Dr. Spooky!
Dr. Spooky!
You won't like anything you see, but that's cool. Dr. Spooky! 80s horror movie reviews.
Where the hell are all the pictures? You know, maybe I should get into filmmaking instead. I mean, I wouldn't have as many lawsuits. I mean, I drink too much, and they just... maybe not. Okay, continuing on. Let's talk about editing. Oh, hey, Jesus. I hate candy corn. So editing, same concept as what I do, different materials maybe, and the outcome is not quite the same, but the concept is exact. For me, when I got a patient who ain't feeling well, I just go in and cut something out, and then everything's great.
Dr. Spooky! Is that my Halloween candy? Are you eating my Ah!
See? All better. It's the same thing in movies. If something ain't working, the best thing you do is just cut it out. That way, you're turning a setback into a better movie, to mix the metaphor. Is that a metaphor? I don't even know. Which brings us to tonight's movie, Interview with Terror. It's about a reporter who gets hot tipped that some scary horror writer has something bad coming up. It's not clear what exactly it is, but the point is this movie is so goddamn boring! I wanted to perform surgery on myself while this thing was going. I couldn't drink enough beer to keep me interested. You know when you're watching something really boring, and you pass out, and you go into some kind of catatonic state, and then you wake up, and you can't remember where you've been or what you've been doing. Kind of like when you've been taken by aliens? That sort of lost time feeling? Well, that's what you get with this movie. We start with this guy getting a phone call about a hot tip. At first I thought, this might not be too bad. But then he goes to an alley with Oscar the Grouch and his dickhead cousins. They won't even come out of the cans because they know what's coming. The creepy voice tells the reporter to look in the can for the hot dip. And before he can thank him, he gets head. Oh, excuse me. Gets his head ripped off.
Oh no.
And this is where it all begins. The reporter goes on a road trip to a song that Rick Springfield only wished he could have written. It's that good!
Everyone knows in the city you'll get your moment in the public eye.
Okay, his driving montage credit sequence is pretty boring, but we do have that awesome song, so I'm gonna give it a pass. Continue. The reporter arrives at a gremlin! Hey, now you know we're in the 80s. Top this one, Stranger Things. Anyway, the reporter goes to visit the horror writer, or David Hasselhoff's evil twin brother, who's either a vampire or on the tail end of a very long hunger strike. So this guy starts blabbing on about evil and how his stories are true events. Anthology. Gee, you can't go wrong with any of those. So our first story starts off in a morgue, or a kitchen, or a high school teacher's lounge, or any combination thereof. Who's to know? And by the way, here's some of the best acting you've ever seen.
For real, dead body?
I don't know. Want to take a look?
Could drive you to drink. Good thing it's too late for me. Here's where we go back to our conversation about editing. Watch this part.
Yes?
Sarah Burns.
Hey, that's the girl. It's terrible, huh?
I'll say. Take a look.
Yeah? Ooh, yeah.
So you guys gonna flip a coin to see who gets to work on her?
Need help, Dennis?
No, I've got it.
I mean, I guess they thought they were trying to establish theme and character, but they didn't, so snip snip. Anyway, as they make a couple of necrophilia jokes, we're introduced to our lead character.
Do me a favor. Dress Mr. Nurembago and put him in the box.
He's going home and getting a home-cooked meal.
I'm going home to a nice home-cooked meal.
Except he's not, because his wife's too busy. So they talk. Well, how busy she is. How you would like a home-cooked meal now and then. Blah, blah, blah.
Dr. Spooky!
What?
Can I have my head back, please?
Sure.
Great!
The only thing is I don't know where I put it. I think it's over by the cat bowl or something.
Ah!
Roll it. Next up, we've got a murder.
Where's the murder?
And there's some editing. Not good editing, and it's badly directed. And the woman who gets killed, well, I think acting maybe wasn't her day job. Then we go back to the morgue. Our lead character complains about home-cooked meals, necrophilia jokes, another murder. You see what I'm getting at? Boring! They should have taken to this with hedge clippers. So, we find out he's the killer. What? I would have never thought. And he kills his wife. The next day, he's gleefully doing her autopsy. And so we're... Oh yeah, I tried to forget. That night, his wife comes back to life as a zombie and kills him. To call this a twist would be to call the happening a masterpiece. Then we go back to the reporter and the writer, and they go back on rambling about evil and reality and fiction, and I think there was a little bit of flirting going on too, but I was too busy raking the flesh off my ass with the cheese grater. Then, on to our next story. We see a woman in an empty apartment crying because Photomart made too many duplicates of her photos and she just doesn't have enough albums to put them in. Then she's off to her son's funeral, because he's dead. Now I'm gonna let you see this scene without comment because it's very important, okay? Just hold on. Okay, here it is.
I was shocked when I heard about Ted. This is horrible. Frankly, I don't believe a word about what they're saying about him. He was a good boy, Mrs. Corey.
Why are we watching this?
I was just going to the bathroom. So, it soon revealed her son was killed by the office because they were doing some bad things and he was gonna rat. No, you heard me right. The entire office was bad. Everybody except him. He wasn't literally killed by everybody. Just one guy. But they all knew about it. His mom gets a mysterious message from a medium. It's like a psychic. Look it up, man. I'm not here to Google shit for you. I ain't got no beer. I'm trying to finish this as fast as I can, okay? So she goes to see this medium, and she meets this guy.
May I help you?
Then she talks to the medium, explains to her what's going on. Through reading her lines in her lap.
But I know that can't be true. I think it has something to do with the place where he worked.
Did you have anything that belonged to Ted with you?
We see her son getting killed in the most embarrassing way possible. What is it? I'm working here. Very hard, I might add.
I want my head!
I ain't touching that one. Figuratively or literally.
The cat said you have it!
We have a talking cat? What the hell am I doing this for? I could make it look more money. Kitty, 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 yeah, kitty, kitty, kitty. And then there's the acting. You know how you got your different techniques of acting? I like to call this one the interrogation technique. I think it's a good fit.
As far as I can tell, she's a flake. And the cops wouldn't believe her even if she did know anything.
You're sure?
Positive.
This matter is now settled. As far as I'm concerned, Ted Corey is in the past.
Now, this is where the medium shows up and threatens the big guy. Tells him she knows the real story. But he ain't bothered. He's been threatened by professionals. The boss calls up one of the guys to tell him what's going on, and someone kills him. But not until they've talked for about 30 minutes. Editing! Then we see another employee at home. His wife's got him a present. Sex in a box. But he's not interested. He just wants to relax, have a drink. But death has come for him instead. And just for emphasis, a little dash of zoom lens. Always a good idea to make sure people understand just how dramatic the dramatic parts are. We got to these two.
Lyle, I was just talking to June Woodard. Pete's dead.
What? When?
Last night, she said he died of natural causes, but Lyle, I think it was Harcourt and Breck.
Amanda, you're overreacting.
Who, for some reason, we spend a lot of time with as they talk about what's going on right in front of us. Maybe the writer and the director are hoping to create some kind of tension or drama, I think. But it doesn't. But they're gonna give it their best shot. And not to flog a dead horse or a giraffe or one of any assorted animals you might find in a zoo. All this is just, say it with me, boring! But all this doesn't matter, as the boss already knows that they're up to. A struggle commences, and the boss is shot. Of course, their brilliant response is this.
Lyle, what are we gonna do?
We've got to think. Get somebody to handle this.
Well, get away from me.
Hide the body. I've got it. I'll call Breck. He'll know what to do.
Breck is dead.
Oh, yeah, shit.
Lyle, what are we gonna do?
I don't know, man. I'm not good at this stuff.
Makes the guy shoot himself. The woman runs home, makes a quick phone call to discuss travel plans with a loved one. But when you know it, it's all pointless, as the zombie appears and makes her happy, I think? And she drowns herself in the pool. It's a solid block of carbon dioxide at a temperature of 193 negative Fahrenheit is placed in a large volume of water, thereby accelerating sublimation and creating a low-sinking dense cloud of smoke-like fog that washes over the area. Finally, we see the mom reunited with her son, who has suddenly become a less coordinated, more seating-impaired zombie, which leads her to contact the medium for a refund. But she's got no buyer's remorse for her. Maybe boring is better, if that's the best comedy you can come up with. Alright, so we're on to the last one, so maybe switch up the booze with a cup of joe, you know? Not too much. I mean, this ain't like the Titanic or anything. Well, it is like the Titanic, but just not that long, so keep the booze handy. Alright, here's the next one. We start off with a beautiful little family. Mom, dad, and son, who just so happens to be into creepy monster stuff. I bet you a six-pack of the good stuff that he's got a bully. Ah, bingo! Yeah, but only maybe I should collect 3 cans of that six-pack, because he ain't exactly top shelf for the bully trade. Just watch him bully our young hero over these cookies. And by no means is he a closeted homosexual. Uh-oh. What's in those bushes?
It's free real estate.
So, once everything gets going, we lured the kids afraid of the old Bloody Mary story. You don't know that one? Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. Ah. See? That night, the kid decides to find out for himself if the legend is actually true and not just a delicious cocktail. So after dropping a tab of ecstasy, he goes to the bathroom, says the magic words, and we'll give him some time to come down. Where's my candy jar? Yeah, this next part didn't really have much to do with the movie, but oh boy is it something. Elementary school sexual harassment. The 80s were truly a different time. Now our hero is visiting a psych on account of the dreams he's been having ever since his discovery in the bathroom. No, YouTube, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Bloody Mary. No, not that Bloody Mary. So, his psych gets him to make some drawings that he takes to his parents. And his diagnosis? It's, best way I can describe it is through
a certain age, a child becomes capable of an emotional attachment to the adult of the opposite sex. It's very similar to the adult relationship to his own mate.
What?
Of course, physical immaturity dooms the child's desires to frustration, and intellectual immaturity makes the child afraid of his own fantasies.
Are you sure you want this guy fixing your kid? I thought he was a quack. Moving on. The kid's friends, who for some reason actually seem to have included the bully with their gang, spend the night at the kid's house, and then they start teasing him about the whole Bloody Mary thing. Then the bully threatens him. Like it's, not enough to have a bully threatening you at school. Let's bring him inside the house so we get the full experience.
I know exactly how he feels.
Where's my scalpel? Finally, the kid challenges the bully to do the old Bloody Mary trick. And turns out, it's real after all. Too bad for our bully. Now, I only got one question left. What the fuck was going on with the bushes? Oh yeah, I almost forgot that. We go back to the reporter and the writer, and turns out the writer's the devil or something like that. Oh my god, what a twist. So, I think you got a taste of the editing problem that I was talking about. I mean, everything else was pretty bad, but the editing? Let's put it this way. You swallow a razor blade, it's gonna hurt.
Dr. Spooky!
Oh, looks like somebody's all better.
I'm not sure. I had someone else do the reattachment.
Who?
The cat.
Man, that cat's talented.
Oh, now my body's falling off. Is that harder to fix than your head?
You told me I'd get to go outside after this one. You promised. Please?